Welcome to the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast, bringing you fishing tips, gear reviews, tournament news, and more. Featured guests from all over the nation. Now, 1 hour of live streaming via Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Here's your host, John Rapp. Hey guys, welcome to the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast. It is Tuesday, April 12th, and this is episode 18. We had 4 guys scheduled for the show tonight. Chris Payne just jumped off while we were doing our background talk. He is not going to be with us tonight because they just went under a tornado warning and he was driving, so he didn't want to sit out on the side of the road, and he wanted to get home where he could be safe. So Chris, God bless you. Thoughts and prayers with you guys out there in Texas. Hopefully that is just a warning, not a watch or anything that could be real serious. So, tonight's episode, I've got Mark Edwards with us, Kyle Strother, and Buddy Vance in the background, waiting to bring them guys on board. And we're just going to do a group chat, talk about what happened this weekend when we fished Saturday, and I think those guys fished Sunday too. West Virginia Kayak Anglers Saturday event on Stonewall Stone Cold, and then they were also involved with the Bass Nation event held on Sunday. And success from these guys happened. I know Buddy won the Bass Nation tournament Sunday, and all 3 of those guys were the top 5 for the WVK event on Saturday. Did invite Greg Kupfner to be on the show tonight too. He was the eventual winner of the event on Saturday, but he is doing a little construction work at his dad's tonight. So let me do a little introduction here and we'll go from here. So first one, guys, y'all just chill out here. Let me throw some intros and let people see who you all are, and then we're going to bring you on live, raw, and unfiltered. Okay, first person we're going to have is Mark Edwards. Mark Edwards, pipe stem boy, Southern West Virginia. That's Mark. And then we've got Kyle. Kyle's a Northern West Virginia boy. He's out on the water fishing right now, but he's with us live, raw, and unfiltered. And then we have Big Buddy Vance in the background. Let me find him real quick. Get over here, baby. Get over here. Boom. And then we got the Buster. Let's see if that video stops. It does not. So let's go up there and slow Buddy's intro vid down. But there's the Budster. So I'm going to bring all these guys on. As you can see, top left we have Mark Edwards. Top right we've got Kyle. And then on the bottom we have that sexy man Buddy Vance. What up, Big Daddy? Hey guys.
What up?
All right, guys. So, Mark, start us off, brother. Tell us about your weekend, what you were throwing. Tell us a little bit about your history and just what you used and how you went about your day. So.
Well, I've had a lot of success up at Stonewall. It's like really one of my favorite lakes. But I knew with the weather coming that it was going to be really tough. And this spring we're having it just seems like the fish are set back 2 or 3 weeks. And actually, I've seen water temp 49 degrees Saturday, which is really, really cold for this time of year.
Yeah.
And so I was hoping for 5 bites, and I really went to catch 5 spotted bass. I figured the spotted bass would be easier to catch. And so I tried to find the clearest water. I fished where the clearest water should have been, but there wasn't very much clear water. And I had 3 bites, and I caught all 3 of them, throwing finesse baits like Ned. The regular Ned, I didn't throw a whole lot, but the 4-inch TRD, Z-Man TRD, I caught my first fish the first 10 minutes, a little 9.5 incher, and I thought, I'm going to get a limit of these little guys.
Right.
It was just tough.
So,
and I only fished a little bit past instead of the moment, I guess. I went to the spots I've caught fish before.
Okay. So tell us, what do you ride in?
I got a native watercraft. Uh, Titan 12 is what I use 90% of the time
Now, the what you were telling me
because
earlier,
I have to kilo and stuff, and I really like it.
uh, so you were telling me earlier you had like 4 or 5 rods set up with different type of dead rig setups.
Yeah, I had like a jig Ned, and I had a regular TRD, the original finesse Ned. Then I had a 4-inch big turd TRD. Then I had a Nico rig, a 5-inch worm Nico, and I actually caught a fish off. I only caught a fish off 2 lures, and that was a Nico and a big Ned.
Okay. Did you carry your normal
But
10 or 12 poles that day?
oh yeah, I had plenty of rods. Hold on, Greg's trying to call me.
Okay, I'll jump in. Hey, Kyle. So, guys, Kyle Strother here. Uh, Tell us about your day, buddy, and what you were doing, what you're using, your techniques, and what was successful for you.
Yeah, I know Mark said he always has success at Stonewall, but man, I fish it a good bit, and it can be pretty tough. Uh, you can go out there and blank a lot, and then one day you'll just have a really good day. So it's kind of hit and miss at times for me, at least. Um, but like he said, the water's pretty muddy. It was cold. I went pre-fishing on Thursday before the tournament for a couple hours after work, and I noticed the water was pretty bad, so I went to the main lake, and I was ended up catching a 15-inch spotted bass, and it kind of gave me an idea of what's going on, and I could see the water temperature. It was in like the mid 50s. So by the time Saturday rolled around and it kept getting colder,
Yeah.
I noticed that the water temperature was dropping, and it was actually getting muddier. So I knew that probably the main lake would be playing just a little bit more clear water, a little bit more stable water. So that's where I ended up running out to, and I had several lures too, but pretty much all my work was done on a power Ned rig, which is basically, I mean, it's only an 1/8 ounce, but it's got like a weedless weed guard on it, and I was just dragging that around on the main lake, and I only got the first day on Saturday. I only caught 3 fish total. The first one was a 7 3/4 inch bass off some rock.
That's
I'm like,
awful.
okay, at least I got the chunk out.
Yeah.
That was like my main thing. I'm like, let's just see if I can catch one fish and just get that out of the way. And well, the next one ended up being that 20.5 incher.
The money
Just
fish.
dragging that. I don't like fishing Ned rigs. I mean, it's tough. It's not the most fun way to fish, but I knew with the conditions being so cold, the water dropping, the water temperature dropping, and the water going up,
Yeah.
the water levels were going up, and it getting muddy. I'm like, it's going to be tough throwing anything else. So just throwing around that Ned rig. Um, Magic Crawl was the color I was using on Saturday, which
Now
is like
what?
a green pumpkin with like a blue hue to it. In certain lights, you can kind of see the blue, so it's a little bit different. Because a lot of people throw green pumpkin,
Well,
just
I
like
can
a
see
little
your
bit.
setup now in the background. You got at least 3 poles plus the one you're using. So are you normally carrying 4 poles?
I'm usually carrying 6.
6?
I've got 5 rod holders, and I just leave one in my hand, so that
I
serves me
got
well.
you. Okay. Well, stand by, Big Daddy. Let's see what Buddy has to say. Budster,
Hey, what's
tell.
up, John?
Hey, buddy. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to the Rusty Hook. I think this is we're breaking your cherry here. It's your first time on the show, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah, this is my first time.
Excellent, man. I appreciate you taking a moment. I'm sorry we caught you out. I caught you out in the middle of God's country today doing some work, but thanks for rushing back to the house or getting back to the mining camp and jumping on real quick.
Absolutely.
Hey, congratulations on your victory on Sunday.
Thank you.
I know it was tough and the bites were far and few between, but tell us what you fish out of, your setup, your pole setup, if it's power, if it's finesse, and how you had your successes on Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday, I figured I'm about like Mark. I was going to head for fish for spots. I figured it would be the better chance to catch fish, especially with the weather conditions. So I headed to the main lake, fished the deeper banks. most of my fish, almost every one of them, come off a drop shot, about 15 to 20 foot of water. I would rather power fish any day than drop shot or net fish, but I figured you had to adapt to have a chance, because fishing this, like I said, this spring's been behind with the weather conditions and water temps. It's been extremely slow.
What was your temps? What was the water temps there, buddy, where you were doing your drop shot?
I started with 49, and most I seen was 50. It did get up to 51 Saturday.
Okay.
So, I figured Sunday would be a little bit. Caught my first fish, only fish, early that morning, and had several bites prior to that on a drop shot, and then missed another one after the one I caught, and then it just, once the sun came out, the bites went away.
Wow. I was hoping for you guys. I was watching the leaderboard. I'm thinking that sun's coming out. It might clear the water up or to heat the water up a little bit, and maybe those 2 to 3 foot sections of water back on the banks would warm up enough where you could catch a fish or two. But yeah, that's good info. So tell us a little bit about your boat and your setup. What you carry with you.
I fish out of a Hobie PA 14 Pro. I usually have 8 rods on board. Brandy makes fun of me a little bit, but I usually have 8. Most of the rods were tied up for power fish, but really only used one rod. Did Ned fish a little bit, and that's about it.
Okay. Well,
that's about like Tennessee. It was, it's surprising. You get to go to Tennessee to fish the chick, and all our fish come off of drop shots. I mean, the fish were about the same way, deep, and it was a slow bite.
Yeah, I think Greg, and I'm sure he may jump in and talk about it in his comments if he gets the opportunity. While he was fishing the paddle and fin tournament, he was throwing one of those little bitchy jigs, little jig, and he had success down there for 2 days with it. He used that up at Stonewall, I believe, and that's how he got his 5 fish. The only limit that was caught for our tournament.
I had my 5th fish on Saturday and lost it, so I had 5 bites and landed 4. That's why I figured if you got a bite, you better land it. Before clean.
Yeah, you had to fish clean. There's no doubt about that. So, hey, you guys stand by. We're going to go to a little break here, and then we're going to bring everybody back on. And we're going to talk techniques, cold spring type fishing, and maybe we can help some people out there learn how to catch a fish. And if we're even lucky, maybe Kyle will catch one for us live, raw, and unfiltered out there at the ponds. So here we go. Stand by.
Payne Outdoors, Straight Talk, an outdoor product analyst and custom soft plastic maker. Check out our reviews and products at our website, payneoutdoors.com.
Feel Free Kayaks. Something for everyone. Pedal, paddle, or power. We can outfit you to meet your needs. For more information, visit feelfreeus.com.
Kayak Gadget offers all kinds of kayak accessories such as motor mounts, anchor systems, and other track-based items to make your time more enjoyable on the water. Visit their Facebook page, search Yak Gadget.
Guggen Brothers Custom Tackle specializes in jigs and Ned-style lures. Brothers who know what it takes to put fish in the boat. Check out their Facebook page. Search Guggen Brothers Custom Tackle. All right, we're back live, raw, and unfiltered. Thanks for hanging out with us. Looks like we've got 8 or 9 people on the show right now checking out these studly men and their cold fishing techniques. So if you're hanging out with us, Garrett from Romney, John down in Florida, Brian up in Michigan, Storm, West Virginia, Randy, Florida, Jonathan Cart, Tim Isaacs, and 3 others. Brandy Gore is watching. I wonder why she's watching. And we got Greg Harper's watching. He's on his way out to Oklahoma to meet Mark. Mark's in Oklahoma, folks.
Called me.
So, hey, you guys make sure you stay tuned in to Mark and Greg, our boys from West Virginia, who are out. What are y'all fishing out there, Mark?
Saturday. It's a Bassmaster kayak series event.
Excellent. Excellent. Do we have anybody other than you two West Virginia boys representing?
Just us two from West Virginia.
Okay. Good. So, guys, make sure us West Virginia boys get on there, show them some support, some love, and send them a little bit of good wishes and some good karma. All right. So, let's bring these boys back on the screen here. Guys, to your left, right, and bottom. Left is Mark Edwards. Top right, we have Kyle Strother. He's out on the lake doing a little fishing. And then back in the back country in the mining camp in Nowhere Gods, West Virginia is Buddy Vance. Budster, thanks for joining us, man. Hey, so, cold weather. Boys, we struggled. I fished Stone Cold, where you guys fished Stone Wall, and where you guys were targeting spots, thinking spots, I went to Stone Cold because I was thinking smallmouth. I didn't have the success that you guys had, but I did land one monster smallie and a halfway decent smallmouth or largemouth to finish in the top 5 with you guys. So let's talk about the techniques that you guys used. I know in a little bit more detail. For me, it was a Ned rig with a. I used the copper truce with the green pumpkin / copper on one side. Small TRD, threw it right in the middle of a brush pile, tree right in the water. What's funny is, and that Stormy's going to give me a hard time, he had just fished it and zoomed over to go see his buddy Mikey, and they were talking. And I pulled in behind him, and I dropped one in there, and the sun came out, and I guess it shined on that copper or whatever, and that's how I picked up that largemouth. My smallmouth came on a square bill, which was that I purposely had bought and made with the IHT custom baits up in Ohio, 4 spotted bass out at Lake Norman. It's a goldish mustard combo that I have. And I thought, well, I'm going to throw that because, Mark, you sort of hit it on the head. The water had a little bit of stain, a little darkness to it, and I wanted something to flash. So you guys jump in, tell me what you guys did to have your successes again. And what you recommend.
Yeah, I mean, I recommend fishing rock and wood because they hold the heat better.
Right.
So, I mean, but like if it was a warming trend, you might want to fish the muddy, shallow banks, if the fish were moving up. But since the fishing it just got cold and was getting colder, they get real tight to cover that, because it holds a little bit of that heat. And my problem was probably the only reason I caught 3 was I was fishing too fast. I mean, you got to get it right in the cover, and you got to just make multiple casts to them and slow down because the fish ain't very active.
Kyle, what are you doing right now?
Well, it's pretty flat calm right now, but these ponds I'm fishing, they're on the warmer side. I actually got a couple hits on a frog, so hopefully as it gets darker, maybe I can get a good bite on a frog. I was joking the other day about using one.
Yeah, that was classic.
30-degree water on frogs, so the conditions had to be perfect, though. I was actually throwing, this is the Magic Craw color. I don't know if you can see some of that blue in there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
so mimic a bluegill?
Yeah, a bluegill or maybe a craw. I don't really know what they think of it. They just, it stands out in that stained water, and it provides the right profile, I think. But, yeah. You had to focus on that tight to cover stuff, like the wood. I caught all my fish off wood, except for that one small short fish that was off some rock, which was getting a lot of sun. Those banks that had the sun beating down on it, like especially the clay banks, like you could see them just lit up. They had to have been warmer on the bottom, because that bass I caught, it was tight to one of those clay banks on the deeper side of it. It was pretty close to a lay down as well, but it wasn't right on top, so I don't know if it was just hanging out on that warmer clay bottom and just happened to have a log beside of it, or it came out of the log. I'm not real sure. It doesn't really matter. It came in the kayak.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know that smallmouth hit my square bill moving right beside a big brush pile. You know how they stone cold. You guys have fished it. I know guys that are familiar with stone cold. They got a bunch of like fish signs that says fish detector here. You know, fish structure here. I had just came out of that cove that they call Walleye Cove, and it was right there along the bank, and it was like 3 or 4 signs right there. It said, and I threw by a big. It looked like I want to call it what are those things that you pallet a pallet looked like a pallet was laying in the water, and I threw it by that pallet and drug it by. That fish must have been sitting underneath that pallet because it wasn't 2 or 3 feet past that pallet, and it was just smashed. So, buddy, so what was you doing, bro? What were you doing to this?
I look
Rocks?
for banks that were rocky banks, rock bluffs, especially where the main channel swings against the bank. Especially if there was some wood there, that was key. And like Mark said, fish slow. I mean, when you think you're fishing too slow, you probably need to slow down a little bit more.
Right.
I mean, most bites come when I was just sitting there holding the bait in place.
It's amazing, you know, and the Ned rig is such a great bait to just drop down in there and dead stick it, you know.
Yep.
You know, not like
All my bites in the Ned rig, they all came, even from like pre-fishing on Thursday, they all came just slowly dragging, just barely lifting that rod tip a couple inches. Like, you couldn't hop it a couple times, you know, you couldn't let it dead stick. It just had to be slowly dragged, and that's the only time they would never got a bite doing it.
and that's sort of the bad thing that we had that day, guys. I know you experienced it over at Stonewall. You'd have that snow and sleet and that rain hit you, and with a little bit of wind, and then it would blow out, and you'd have that sunshine, sort of calm, and then you could hear it coming. That next little round, it sounded like a train coming, and you would have a squall for about 5 minutes of 20, 25 mile an hour wind just blowing you around. And then it would,
I heard it coming. It
Yeah.
sounded like a bass boat coming around the corner.
yeah,
I'm like, I'm gonna look back, make sure they're not gonna run me over.
Yeah.
I just see a cloud of just a wall of snow coming at me.
yeah,
I got the
And it's
hold
so
down.
hard to finesse fish with that kind of wind.
it is.
And it's extremely difficult.
I
Yeah,
did.
I caught my third fish right when the first big storm rolled in and the wind started, and I was measuring it and I got blown into the bushes because the wind just all of a sudden started. It was rough conditions, man. Some of the roughest ones I believe I've ever fished.
Yeah, I was going to say, for our West Virginia events, I think it is. But we've had some bad Stonewall events, guys. Remember 3 years ago we had ice and snow up there in October, or maybe 4 years ago. I can't remember when it was, 3 or 4 years ago. And then we had Summersville 2 years ago when we all went out that morning. It was like 35 degrees. And
It was
then,
cold.
And then that afternoon was when we had the 20 and 25 mile an hour gusts of wind that blew in. That was but we didn't have the conditions, the rain and the sleet and the snow like we had yesterday. So I would say yesterday was probably our nastiest event yet for West Virginia.
It was probably the worst for me.
Yeah, I usually like cranking too in these conditions just for reaction bites, but
Yeah.
where the water come up and the leaves were floating, and I use a lot of homemade balsa baits. That's kind of they're silent, so it's like finesse fishing with crankbaits really. But I couldn't throw them very much. I mean, if I threw them, it'd come in with a leaf, and it was just wasting time really.
Yeah, I had that happen too, especially when we had the hard winds. Now, and of course, I'm still rather new at bait casting. I've only been throwing it for a couple years, but I did learn a couple times the hard way. You don't throw it into the wind. You have to throw it with the wind. So, tip 1, guys. Hey, we got 11 viewers on here so far. Mikey Holcomb, he easily says top 3 worst conditions he's ever fished in. We got Brandon Knoll who's joined us. So, guys, comment, share, like, and let these guys know what you think of their tips, tricks, and their trade secrets. So, quick rundown at this point is in cold weather. Our Tim Isaacs, hey buddy,
Hey.
our tips here have been to look for rocks and structure as they hold heat, and throw Ned Riggs style baits, shaky heads, get them to the bottom, and fish very slow, very slow. Anything
and
else?
darker baits too. Darker collars
Yeah.
is a big key, especially because of the water collar.
Yeah.
You know,
Well-
if it was clear, you could throw more natural stuff. But I think we all caught our fish on darker collars, probably.
Darker colors.
Yep.
They can see them.
I actually was throwing a spinner bait there on Saturday a good bit. I had 2 bites on that. They're probably really small spotted bass because they just nipped at the trailer and they ripped it off. But it would load up a couple times. I was like, here we go. This is the one.
Speaking of which,
They were still kind of shy. Like, you could still get away with that reaction bite in that cold weather. But, they were still a little bit shy. The weather just shook them a little too much.
hey, did anybody raise any muskie?
Nope.
No muskie there?
Blaine caught one.
Blaine
my
caught a nice
teammate,
one.
that's the only thing he caught.
Yeah.
That's the only thing my teammate caught was a muskie.
Well,
But his
I heard-
one muskie was bigger than all 3 of my fish.
yeah, they said it was about a 40-incher. It was a really big fish.
Yeah, that's what he said. But also Stonewall. I mean, Stone Cold's different. Stone Cold doesn't have shad, but Stonewall has lots and lots and lots of shad. So them fish, they feed on shad. That's their main forage. So, I mean, they'll eat shad when it's 40 degrees, and they don't care. I mean, they're going to eat. They got to eat. But so anything that, as far as crankbaits are really good at Stonewall most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But just these conditions just didn't offer.
Well, guys, we have.
You fishing those bluff walls. They're so steep, and with the water coming up and the leaves right on the bank, there's very little margin of error for you to get that crankbait. Down
Yeah,
off.
you got to parallel it pretty much. You got to get almost against it.
And with the wind,
Parallel.
good luck.
It was too hard.
So, tips, tricks, and techniques. That's what we've been talking about. And we have a tournament coming up on May 7th with the clearest, coldest, and deepest lake in West Virginia. Any secrets y'all want to share with some special friends here?
I've not been
Summersville,
there.
it's going to be so different. We don't even know what the water level is going to be. We don't even know how much water is going to be in it by May 7th. It's so...
Well,
I don't have much experience on them lakes that move up and down so much.
Well, the water is quickly rising there, and when I drove over it yesterday, it was full of debris. I mean, everywhere. It's still probably a good 75 to 100 feet from summer pool level, but if we keep getting the rain, I mean, it's jumped. It's tremendously high the past few days from where it was. So if we keep getting this rain next few days, I would say that we could really see it close to summer pool by the 1st of May. So
I would like to see it summer pool and clear. I would like.
yes,
Better see it.
I just want it to be at summer pool because I don't like it when it's down. Honestly, I don't like to fish it when it's down. I struggle, but when it gets to summer pool, if we can get the water up a couple weeks before our tournament, we all know the fish will move back to where they need to be, back in those coves, back in those areas. And I like fishing back at the park back here along the dam on the backside. Well, buddy, where's your favorite spot on Summersville? Do you like over at the marina, down Muddy?
Hey, for Battle Run, I usually stay in no wake zones, especially that time of year.
Yeah.
And I won't hit the main lake, not that time of year.
I'm surprised with that Hobie. You can move around pretty quick. I've seen Storm and those guys get out there in that Hobie and just fly all over that main lake.
Yeah, I mean, I love the main lake in the summertime, but this time of year, if they'll move up where they should be, back around the marina on that end or on Battle Run side.
That's what I'm hoping
Yeah.
too.
They caught limits around that island over on Battle Run side.
Yeah.
Dragging flats. I mean, them smallmouth will move up there. It's slow fishing, but they'll be there.
That's what I'm hoping for too. I really like that area. It's that 30 to 40 foot range. So
Yep. Well, it'll be dragging a 4-inch lizard.
I've been fortunate. I found one place during a few years ago when it was super cold, and I kind of ran that same pattern last year and found another place similar, and that's all I got. The rest of the lake, I've struggled, man.
Yeah.
I think it was after that one tournament was over. Me and Buddy was still in an online tournament, and we went past the ramp because everybody was fishing at the ramp, and we both were still fishing for an online tournament. And I caught 2 nice ones.
Yeah, and that's one of the spots I like to fish. I mean, right there. They don't before.
That would have won the tournament.
Yeah.
well, final
But I
thoughts,
think them
fellas.
fish were on. I think them fish were on beds.
I've caught plenty, especially in that area, right in front of that area, and a couple of years ago I finished second there and caught one 17 inches right there at the end, that same spot. So there's always smallies there.
Yeah. Well, one thought I got: if you're going to throw Neds, I'm not big. I mean, I use a lot of finesse stuff, and I shaky head a whole lot, but I use 12-pound line usually for shaky heads and stuff.
Right.
But if you throw a Ned rig, you've got to be 8-pound line kind of to make it work right. It just doesn't work right. So
What?
I mean,
you know,
I was
7-pound line.
Let's talk hooks. Do you guys like those Z-Man Ned rig hooks, or do you go with an owner, or do you have a custom-made hook that you like to use?
I used the custom made this week. It's the first time I used that one, and I guess I like it because I got 2 bites on it and I caught both of them.
Right.
But last year I was trying to use a head that was a wide gap because I was using a 4-inch TRD, and I went through a bunch of different heads I had, and I lost a lot of fish last year, and this year I didn't lose any, and it looked like it had a 3/0 hook in it, and it was an owner hook. I could tell by the tip of the hook is the owner, and I picked it up at the East Tennessee Fishing Show.
Yeah.
It was
Great.
nice.
And Mark just hit it, guys. I know that show normally is the same weekend as the show they have in Charleston, but if you're into fishing and you're looking for fishing equipment or gear, you're wasting your time going to Charleston. You need to make your trip to Tennessee. And correct? Am I wrong? I mean, if I'm wrong, tell me.
No. It's the best show. It's the best fishing show besides the Classic, and it's got just as much tackle as the Classic, if not more custom stuff actually.
Yeah. I enjoy that show. I go down and work with Frontier Outdoors every year, and I hate that. I like going down there to help them guys out, but boy, it hurts my wallet a little bit every time I come home. What about you fellas?
2 this year.
Yeah.
That was Brandy's down, and she enjoyed it. There's tons of fishing stuff. We sat through a bunch of seminars. I mean, there's plenty to do.
Yeah, there is. It's a good show. Mark, we need to get you down there on the seminar list. Let you do a little teaching.
Sound like Boomhauer, but I'll try.
Hey, any final thoughts from you there, Kyle?
Yeah, I was thinking about fishing in the cold, and we all kind of touched upon how important it is to take advantage of every bite that you get, and we had certainly did that. To do so, you have to be mentally prepared. Like, every time you cast, you have to be expecting a fish to bite. You have to be expecting that 5-pounder to hit. You have to throw it into the difficult cover, and you have to be prepared to break off and not catch fish, but you have to be ready when the time comes. And it can be difficult when it's cold because your mind starts wandering everywhere else. You start thinking, oh man, I can't feel my fingers. I wish I'd be home right now. Nice hot cup of coffee would be great. That's why it's important to make sure that you wear proper clothing.
That's where I was going to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
good socks are very important. Insulated boots. I was wearing 2 pairs of gloves, and that helped a lot. And it's also important to keep like hydrated. Sometimes it's hard to drink when it's that cold.
Right.
But if you don't get hydrated, you'll start to get loopy. If you don't eat, just take like a minute and shove some crackers in your mouth and take a swig of Gatorade. You'd be surprised how much better you'd be after that.
I'm telling, and I want to tell all my friends from Tennessee, Ohio, Michigan to completely ignore what he said about hydrating and come see me when I got the moonshine, because I'm going to make sure I sabotage you guys and make sure you're hurting the next morning. You can't concentrate. Your hands are numb. You don't feel that hit. That way I can keep finishing well in this year's tournaments. And hey guys, anytime y'all want to come over and have a little drink with me, which I'm drinking water, and y'all, I got something to help you out. It takes the pain away. Takes the pain
Keep
away.
It. Yeah.
Oh God, buddy.
Might have a headache the next day.
Yeah. Buddy,
Look, the brandy, so my hands were pretty cold that day.
So final thoughts for you, my brother.
Like you said, stay hydrated. I struggle trying to stay hydrated when it's cold. You've got to make yourself drink and stay focused. I mean, I missed my 5th bite just because I wasn't focused, and they're subtle, and your mind gets wandering and you're not paying attention, and next thing you know, you finally get that bite and you've missed it.
Right.
So
Mark, hydrate. You and Greg get plenty of sleep. Be fresh. And come home with some trophies this Sunday evening.
yeah,
That's the plan.
good.
All right.
That's the plan.
Hey guys, appreciate y'all jumping on. Kyle, catch a few fish. Mark, be safe, buddy. You have a safe trip back out of the mountains, back to Logan. God bless you.
Hey, I'm back.
Hey, that was fast. That was a fast drive, man. Was you driving while you were talking on the show?
No, I just brought my taco too, and I'll show you ready to eat. So,
Woo!
Oh,
Man.
look at that.
Yeah. Well, that's, that Kyle mentioned you need to hydrate, but you also got to add nutrients to the old physique there, baby. Shove a few of those down and get you some good sleep. So, but hey guys,
Absolutely.
we appreciate you. My 11 viewers that showed up tonight, Mikey, Michael Wade. Hey, Michael Wade is in the house. God bless you, buddy.
Hey, Mike.
We need to see you back out on the water with us. Chris Burgart, appreciate you jumping in, Big Daddy. Garrett, Jonathan Cart, TD Holster, Greg, Tim, Mikey. Anyway, Shannon, thank you for watching Mark, Buddy, and Kyle as we talked a little bit about cold water fishing. I know we're only done about 40 minutes tonight, but we missed Chris Payne's segment, and hopefully the tornado warnings have passed him there in Texas. Guys, y'all be safe. Thank you again. All right, we're going to shut down the show tonight, guys, and wrap this thing up. So I appreciate everybody that took a few minutes to come out and hang out with us tonight. The whole idea for this episode was to talk about what we did with the West Virginia Kayak Anglers event up here this past weekend. It was nasty. I mean, it was nasty weather. Go look at Mark's, Buddy's, and Kyle's page and some of the other guys and read their recaps. Some of the guys got some video and some photographs of the conditions that we fished in, and you would really might get an understanding of what over 60 anglers faced Saturday and 16 on Sunday. But make sure you stick with us. We'll be back next Tuesday. I don't know what we're going to talk about yet, because that's why it's always live, raw, and unfiltered. But I appreciate you tuning in with us. Stay safe. Clean your equipment. Get everything ready. Let's do some fishing. Don't forget about Summersville Lake Tournament coming up. And don't forget, also, we got the online challenge series with the April onlines. So make sure you go check them out.